Welcome again this week on our Monday 2 p.m. show for the Rabell Realty Group podcast on Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining on this wonderful, thankful week of Thanksgiving.
That's right. It's Thanksgiving week.
And again, I'm Kristen Rebecca, and this is Rebecca Johnson. We are here to give you some great tips and information, and we'll talk about Thanksgiving a little later in the show as well.
That's right. I think we're going to get started with our Monday market report, and as promised, it's going to be a look at the year 2020 so far. All right, so this year we've got the numbers. Yeah, we've got the numbers up there, and
there we go.
So far this year, currently on the market for attached homes and detached homes, which are your single-family residential units, you have 924 listings to choose from. That's it. All price points.
That's all. I mean, at least there's more active than pended.
That's true.
In the full year, though.
That's true. And
so not this current month. And some of these might be incorrect. Sometimes at the very end of the year, a lot of the brokers are running around and scrambling to get all the pendeds that they forgot to pend to close. Yeah, sometimes you'll see a couple numbers change. So that could be a little different later. The actives are probably truly the actives. And the closed, again, are truly the closed.
I know I have a couple in there that need to be closed out, and I just, it was a matter of me going to get the checks and bringing the paperwork in. And
I at least have two.
I know. I was looking at the number. I'm like, ooh, some of that's me. But yes, your pending sales, you've got about 843 homes under contract that are, waiting to close, which means we're going to have well over 5,000 homes closed for the year 2020.
Which is really good because, who knew that this year would do so well with COVID and the changes and the crazy 2020 year.
That's actually incredible considering we spent 2 or 3 months in quarantine, and yes, people were out buying, but it certainly slowed down a little bit. But man, over the summer, it just popped again.
And that's pretty amazing with the lack of inventory that we've had all year. I mean, this just really shows that regardless of what happened, this crazy 2020, people were still out buying and, really wanted to take advantage of these amazing low rates.
Exactly, but we do still have a low inventory. Even though it looks like, wow, 900 homes, you're thinking that's everything from, under 50,000 to over, 2 million. Right. So that really does break down to where there's not a lot of options. And then, of course, you've got different areas and houses with land and without land. And a typical year we are, you're expecting 5,000 people to buy maybe next year. And you only got 900 homes, and we've been averaging, the last couple months, if you've been following along, 500 homes a month, but then you're putting 400 under contract. So you really need a little more
So that
inventory.
Really shows that we have 2.5 months of inventory, maybe less than that. And that's not a lot. And so, we really want to continue pushing that if you are at all considering selling your house, do it now. Typically, throughout the year, the best months to put your house on the market are March and pretty much through June. April and June are usually the largest months for closing, but this year has proven just to be completely different, out of the ordinary. Right now, most buyers are trying to scramble to close by the end of the year so that they can take advantage of the homestead taxes. We talked about this a little last week. And but there's not enough out there. 924, there's probably not enough for all of the buyers that are still looking. So they won't be able to take care of that advantage unless you put your house on the market.
And there is still time out there, buyers, so don't feel discouraged. Homes are coming on the market every day, and you do have time to get closed before the end of the year to get that that homestead exemption. So the first slide here, this is the sales price versus the list price ratio. And one of the things that we really strive to do is to price your home right and get offers that are realistic. And if you're looking at this chart, you'll see that we're just below 100%. And this is Alachua County as a whole.
For the entire year.
Yes, for the entire year so far. sellers are really getting very close to asking price. And I actually pulled this
see
one up.
that line is all the way up to the top. It's a blue line. It's not the middle line that I see on we see on the screen.
Right.
But it's the top line. So it doesn't show you the exact percentage, but it shows you it's just under 100%.
It's probably looking like 96, 97% based on
like to me. Right.
based on what we're seeing. And I actually pulled this slide. I had not intended to pull this for the podcast, but I was in the office with an agent, and we've had a couple on our morning huddles is what we call them, but they're a training element at Rabell Realty Group for our agents. And we've had a couple of agents talking about how their buyers are wanting to offer, $20,000, $30,000 off of list price, and how they just keep getting shot down and rejected. And so I actually pulled this slide for them to show them, show this to your buyer, share it with them, and let them know that sellers are getting list price. And
getting very close to it. And we're experienced as listing agents, they're getting sometimes higher than list price.
Right.
And it's really because of that lack of inventory. So we just had one in a neighborhood, and I priced it actually slightly higher than what the market was telling me, not too far off. And we ended up getting 3 or 4, I think it was 3 offers, $25,000 over list price. So there are those shockers. I had the appraiser call me and ask me why we were selling for that much higher, and I said, well, when I get that many offers that high over, do you want me to tell them no, this won't appraise, we can't take it? I had 3 of them close to that, almost the same exact offers. And so we took it, and he luckily appraised it. Luckily there were some nice upgrades that help appraise it. Probably went out of the area. I never saw the appraisal, but that's happening. But these slides are available to the realtors. So if you're, if you're experiencing this as a realtor or as a buyer, why am I losing it when I'm trying to make these lowball offers? Your realtor can show you this, and as a realtor, we can show you these slides and show you that's the numbers.
And if I
that's
remember,
what's happening this year.
I think I can even pull them for certain areas or neighborhoods. I can go back and look at that, and we'll have these up on the blog if you want to look at them, more closely or more detailed. So one of the slides that was just up was the inventory supply, and that's showing you can see that, starting in January, they were basically parallel and working. And then, as COVID went on, we still had low inventory for the demand. But if you look at that demand for November,
right,
through the roof.
And I mean, look at that March, if you can see that, the 3rd month up until May, and then those are high months actually still regardless, and that's really when we started feeling the effects of COVID and the close down, the quarantines and everything, and people are still out there buying. It did jump down June, July. It didn't feel like that, I can tell you that as a realtor.
Right.
But I mean, this is the inventory supply. So this doesn't show how many buyers were out there. This is just showing what was out there.
Yep. So we were short on inventory. We've been short all year. We're definitely working towards that. So that's your absorption rate. We talked a little bit about that. We've got about a 2.5 month realistic supply. You're always going to have homes on the market that maybe won't fit for everybody. Homes on 20 acres, you're looking for specific buyers. I always see them on the MLS, the handyman specials. Right. You're looking for specific
homes that are
buyers.
2-1 and 3-1s are not for everybody.
So you're always going to have a little bit of everything, but the classic model of 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, or 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, those homes are in really short supply right now. Right. So.
And this is saying 4 months of absorption rate, but it's really closer to 2.5.
Yes, the realistic version. If you eliminate some of those more unique properties that we do get in this area that do sell, you've got to kind of eliminate some of those. But when I pull this, I just keep it simple every time and just do all single-family residential and all attached, just because we do have a lot of those in the area. Right. So if you're thinking about selling or purchasing a home, my number 1 tip for you is to call Rabell Realty Group and talk with an agent. There's no cost to you to talk to us and let us know. Let us meet with you, talk to you about your home, what you need to do to prep it, which we are going to be talking about later in the show. Yep. And we'll get you listed and on the market, and of course featured on the podcast. So, I think we promised everybody that last week we would talk about Thanksgiving traditions.
Thanksgiving traditions. It is this week coming up, and maybe the traditions have changed a little since, obviously with COVID, some areas can't get together. You're not allowed in other areas to get together over, I hear, 4 people in some areas, and what is it in Alachua County, 9 or 10?
I'm not sure. I won't be in Alachua County for Thanksgiving.
Right, we won't. Neither of us will. But a lot of people aren't doing the traveling maybe that they used to do, or getting together in the big groups. I know my stepfather is very nervous about getting into groups, so he's keeping it small. And we're actually able to go to the beach. So we're meeting with your family because we both own in St. Augustine, right?
We've been in quarantine.
We're always together anyways. So, and our kids are similar ages, so it just makes sense. Be there for Thanksgiving Day and a little after, and we'll be doing a festival of lights on the boat. So that'll be exciting, and that'll be a new tradition for us.
Yep, I think we've spent Thanksgivings together before. Our families have. Yes. So that's kind of an old tradition. It'll be a new tradition to go to the beach, typically Thanksgiving Day, and it's kind of weird and sad for me. Troy and I have always gone home, or we've had our family come to us. Right. We're from the Tampa Bay area. So we typically go to his aunt's house. She has family coming in from, Tennessee and from Texas, and then all of the collective family that's in Dade City. Right. Gets together, and she'll have 50 people there, and everybody, that's really the only time of year that we see a lot of his side of the family anymore. And so we typically do that for Thanksgiving, but we're not because his father is very afraid of COVID, and he's in his 70s, and all of his aunts and uncles are in their 70s and 80s, and one's fighting breast cancer, and so we're just we're going to do our own thing. So we're starting some new traditions in our house. I think I was telling you how weird it is for me at Christmas this year. It's the first time in 38 years that I'm not going to be at my parents' house for Christmas. Right. So that'll be interesting. So that's more of a new Christmas tradition. Sorry, Mom, I still love you. I'm really sorry. I know you're upset with me. Right. But, I blame Hannah.
Yeah, little sister. Yeah, for us, Thanksgiving and Gainesville and Christmas, both of us are from Gainesville. So we'll usually do Thanksgiving, and if we're talking about Christmas also, that with my mom, with my parents, which is my mom, stepdad, but my dad is always invited, my grandfather, as you all know, Paco passed away this year, so I have a very different blended family. My dad is married to a woman who lives in Michigan and has for, I think, 20 years now, and so but he's usually here because of my grandfather. So this year he's actually going up to Michigan, leaving this weekend, I believe, and we'll stay until after Christmas. So we won't be with him. So that kind of changes it up. And I mean, I've always been so proud of my family for coming from a divorced family. My parents divorced when I was 3, and my dad always being invited everywhere. I mean, he used to come over to the house a lot.
I think it's unusual.
It is unusual, and I mean, but they've always gotten along. I'm sure there was some bad blood beginning with the divorce, but I think they rallied together to raise their only child. I was their only child, and then my stepdad was always very, open and loving, and I was his first child, and then, his bio kids came along, and I wasn't really treated much differently, so that was a blessing. But our traditions are changed now, A, because of COVID, and B, because we don't have Paco or my dad. And usually we would just have a mixture of people. When I grew up, it was my grandmother's house out in Archer, and we'd all get together, the families. But we don't do that anymore. At my mom's house, we bought a house in Hale, and I want them to all come over to my house. So.
You hosted last year. I remember.
I did. You all came. Yeah. So the traditions, we're changing already, and we're continuing to change. So, Christmas will probably stay home, but this year, going to the beach, hanging out with the Johnsons.
My favorite thing about Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. I always tell everybody Easter is my number 1 because I love bunnies. They're so cute. How can you not love them? And the colors of Easter, and it's spring, and it's almost my birthday, so I just get really excited.
It usually is my birthday.
Yes, it's her birthday. So April is like one of the most beautiful, best months of the year. Sorry, everybody else.
April's the best month of the year.
It really is. And almost everybody at the brokerage's birthday is in April, so it's a very special
April
month.
Or shockingly enough, November. Have you noticed how many November birthdays
we
are this year?
We do have a lot of you, so happy birthday, Rebellion. So what I love about Thanksgiving, though, is that it's a holiday where you're just celebrating togetherness, and I don't have to buy a gift for anybody.
Really nice.
So
you do have to cook a meal.
I like to cook. Yeah, I like to cook, so that doesn't bother me. But like, I don't have to worry about the stress of like making an Easter basket and hiding little bunny trails through the house for the kids and all of that. But the reason I like it the most is because the day after, I get to get a Christmas tree, and I get to have a live Christmas tree as an adult. Growing up, we always had a fake artificial one because my mom said she was allergic. I don't know if that's true.
That's so crazy. But we actually have a fake one now. So we went opposite.
I just love that.
Oh, wait, I do have to say this. She sent this to me earlier this morning, but did you all hear that Walmart is dropping off, if you buy a tree from them, a live tree, they will drop it off, and they will put lights up on your house, a one-story house, single-story house for like $129. Amazing.
I thought that was an incredible deal.
That's amazing, yes. So I definitely sent that to a few friends who were asking because that's an amazing deal.
I thought that was...
Had to throw that out there. But yeah, we always had Fraser firs. We would get them from the churches or actually end up getting them from Lowe's because that's cheaper. My mom would decorate. She loves every holiday.
She's decorated the office
and
before.
Christmas. Yeah, she's decorated our office, and she's great at it. I mean, this is a natural talent of hers. But when I was younger, she would put up, I think there was one year we had 8 trees.
You've told me about this.
Literally 8 trees. There was one at the top of the stairs. There was one by the pool. There was one in every room. I mean, they were gorgeous, but that was a lot of work. So I like one tree.
I do one tree.
I like simplicity.
I've never been fancy enough to have more than one tree, to be honest. My mom kept it simple. But I guess, so this isn't, I guess it's a Thanksgiving tradition because at Thanksgiving, so at our house, the Johnson household, we're not allowed to put anything Christmas up until
Can't
after
skip a holiday.
Thanksgiving.
No
so
skipping holidays.
Sometimes Thanksgiving evening, Troy will allow us to put a little bit of Christmas decor up, but I love this. So my grandmother passed away Christmas Eve last year, and we lost my grandfather in August, so it's going to be kind of a weird year. But they gave me, when they were downsizing and moving from their house, this ceramic, and they sell them now, you can buy new ones, but it's like this old ceramic Christmas tree, and it has all these lights.
Yep.
And I used to play with it when I was a little kid.
Yours, yeah.
I have mine.
So cute.
It's like my most prized thing. I keep it in my master closet. I won't even put it up with the Christmas decor because I'm so scared it will get accidentally broken that I keep it with me. But I always look forward to putting it out at Christmas because it's special. Yes.
Yeah,
So-
you don't like Christmas music, so I love Christmas music. So the other day, KTK was playing and a Christmas song came on, and I was like, yes, this is my favorite time of year, but everyone makes so much fun of me.
Oh my goodness.
You hate it.
I just
love
listen
it.
to the news all the
I
time.
love
I
it.
know I'm a huge dork, but
But
I just listen to the news.
Mason, so he's learning piano and he's learned his first song and played it, and I put it on Facebook, so
And
I'm
it was
super proud
great.
of him.
It was great.
Amazing. I mean, this kid has gone so far with piano, so I love it. And he's so excited to learn all the Christmas songs. So I just ordered him a little Christmas book with music.
Please record and
So,
share.
by the way, it says Thanksgiving tradition.
Oh, yes.
But I think Thanksgiving for us just means the next day, the start of Christmas, which is my favorite holiday. And I don't love the part of it about you have to get the gifts. I don't really care about that part. I think it's just the ending of the year, the family, the religious aspect, and then just the love and joy that people have.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I love all the lights.
I love the lights.
So I'm a huge Santa fan with cute little Santa elves. So I get in trouble for all I don't over collect anything. I'll throw it away if it gets too much. But I collect the really cute little Swedish Nordic elves, and they're my Santas. So I did actually get in trouble this year because I found one in St. Augustine. That was a really cute Santa elf, and I hid it, but I put it in the house, and it was found the second they walked in.
What was that?
They're
What is that?
You're not allowed to skip Thanksgiving. Don't skip a holiday. So it's fun. And I love Christmas movies. But we'll get into that another time. We went way too Christmas in here.
I know.
Thanksgiving is Rebecca's favorite or second favorite. I love it, but not as much as the next one coming up.
Yes, Christmas is beautiful. Now you're making me go, well, I do like Christmas. I just don't like the shopping stressful aspect of it.
Either. But you already did that.
Yeah, I did do that because we were worried about the not being able to get what the kids want. Because you know why? Because I have a 10-year-old, and it has taken me 10 years to realize that if you don't buy the hottest toy that they want, the moment they tell you they want it, you're not getting it.
So I think next week we'll have to talk more about Christmas and about Christmas gifts and toys and all that kind of stuff.
If you've got tips for what 10-year-old girls want.
Or 9-year-old boys. Wait, never mind. Video games. I'm good. I'm down.
Let's see. If you know what 10-year-old girls want,
Video
9-year-old boys,
Video
8-year-old boys,
Video games.
drop them in the comments because I need to know.
Video consoles, video games.
Oh my goodness. We're reaching. I got her a book about how to draw anime characters.
I did that last year.
Well,
he loved to draw, and then suddenly video games.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen with her. I hope, but I'm like, I was at Books A Million yesterday.
That's such a great place for gifts, though. Love it.
Well, now they're doing storybooks from the villain's perspective.
Oh yeah,
through Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So I got.
Great.
Don't tell my daughter, but I got her a couple of those.
She's watching the podcast.
She better not be. She better be in class. So, oh wait, they're off this week. Jamie, don't watch this with Eva in the car.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. But anyways, yeah. So I do like Thanksgiving. I think it's fun. You get to have a meal with everybody, and there's not as much pressure or stress.
I have to say this: this year there's no stress with it, but I have reduced my eating meat, and so with my mom, she's an amazing cook, but she puts bacon in everything. She won't be there, but yes,
options.
We have to have some meatless options for me. Mm-hmm. I'll eat a little bit of meat, but
I'm already keeping in mind Susan's seafood allergy because Troy wants his favorite stuffing, which is an oyster stuffing, which I had never heard of until I married him.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Well, so I always have to make a separate batch. So I will make a batch with no meat and a batch with that.
All right. Well, we got to take a break now, and we'll come back later. Thank you.
I discovered Rabell Realty Group through networking, and so I got a chance to know Kristen and Rebecca through those networking events, and we always, got along really well, and we vibed and we clicked, and I just liked their personalities and I liked them as people. And so when I had the opportunity to join Rabell Realty Group, then I felt that it was a good fit for me. The problem that I was looking to solve when I joined Rabell Realty Group was a sense of community and a place where I could feel like myself and like a sense of belonging within the group that I was working with. It's a very laid-back environment, it's very welcoming, and it's a place where I feel like my personality fits well. Rabell Realty Group and its resources have helped me reach my goals in several ways. It allowed me to just kind of sail forward with my personality and with the things that I enjoy doing. It gave me the confidence to kind of pursue some marketing ideas that I had. I would recommend Rabell Realty Group to somebody else for several reasons. I've mentioned them already, but it's just a very open group. I mean, everybody's laid back, everybody's welcoming. Kristen and Rebecca always have your back. If you get into any kind of crunch, real estate can get tough and some transactions aren't easy. And then the fact that they do have lead sources is important. I really like their marketing and then the way that they do things, and the energy of the entire group is just something that aligns with me as a person.
Hey there, welcome back.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again, and hopefully you got to see our little commercial about Melinda DeLuna, one of our wonderful agents. And so we love having her at Rabell. So
she is truly one of the rock star agents. She's working on getting her broker's license.
She is.
We couldn't be more proud of her. One thing I love about Melinda is that every year we always say that she's our most studious realtor because she is always working on her
educational, CEU or CEs.
Yes, and getting buyer accreditation. Yes,
right,
accreditations. Yep. Kick in coffee, kick in.
The 2:30 coffee.
Yes, my 2:30 coffee, kick in, please. So, anyways, get to know Melinda at buysellrebell.com.
All right,
so what are we talking about next?
So we're going to continue with our holiday talk. I think the next one is coming up on the screen. And so basically we're talking about holidays and listings. And so we'll have a little segment here about how to decorate your house for the holidays when you have a listing coming on, when you're putting your house on the market. So there's a couple of steps in the beginning, and really mostly for picture day, and then also later when you have it listed. So what are your thoughts?
So I would just say,
I
would say that when we're meeting with sellers this time of year, one of the biggest concerns is, how do I make my house not look stale? Should it be on the market in January, February? Because really, after December 25th and on, if you have holiday decor in the pictures, you've dated your house. Yes. So so when we meet with people, we often kind of talk about. We actually had one person who had their tree up.
Yes,
they took it
we
down.
Talk about that, right?
And I'm just trying to remember which house that was. They took it down, and then one person moved it to a different room during the photos so that they could have it, but it wasn't in the pictures.
Right.
So we try to work with everybody.
Well, it kind of depends on the time of year. So if
Right.
it's early November, which we're past, so we're kind of close to Thanksgiving. So if it's next week, you can hold back, even the beginning of December, you can hold back from putting too many things up. So we had talked with that person, I think it was beginning of December, or actually it was in November, and they were like, we're already putting our tree up, we want it up, and we were able to negotiate with them to don't put anything else up until after pictures, because we always get professional photos and video and drone. So like you're saying, you don't want to time stamp it with this holiday decor. This could be any holiday.
Right.
But this is the biggest one where people put out the most.
It's the most noticeable because it's really the only holiday that you literally put a tree in your living room. Right. Cupids and little bunnies you can usually get around, but tree in the living room is a little harder to explain.
Right. And so if you're able to move it like that one couple was for that house, that's perfect. If you're able to wait and hold back. Now, obviously, if you're listing in the middle of December and it's right before Christmas, that's a little harder. But we always suggest if you know you're going to be selling during the holiday season, don't go overboard with the decorations. And again, we always tell everybody, the picture day is your most complicated day. It's the day that you want to be absolutely perfect. You want to get everything out of the way so it looks staged and ready for the next buyer.
We always tell them that picture day is the most uncomfortable day,
right?
Because there are things that you can get away with in a live showing that you can't get away with in a two-dimensional photo that somebody's going to look at for 3 seconds and make an instant decision about your home. So it is uncomfortable. It's the day that everything's out of the shower, the day that everything's off the counters, unless we've told you to leave there.
Off of the refrigerator, off of the top of the refrigerator, things like that, right?
It's truly work. You'll see us and our team there boxing things up, moving them around.
We'll go in and you'll take everything down, and I'll still go in and I'll let you know I'm going to take things and I'm going to put them underneath cabinets. So if I didn't bring something else out after the pictures, just know where they are. They're hidden somewhere.
We're remaking
around
beds.
Around the area.
We're messing with floral arrangements. We're doing it all while we're there because we understand that. I think the statistic is 89% of buyers look online before they ever talk with anybody, but I would beg to differ that it's higher than that.
Right. And we're trying to get buyers in your door.
Right.
So we're trying to make it look even nicer than how you live or how it actually looks. We've had so many sellers say, "Oh my gosh, that's my house. I want to move back in."
That's my favorite.
And we want to have that reaction from them.
Love it.
So again, with holiday decor, just try to, calm it down. For picture day, and then once picture day happens, the next day you can put it all up. I truly believe it's okay to still show your, what you love for showings. You can have your, all of your decor out. Again, you probably don't want it to go overboard because you're going to be packing it up to sell, because hopefully our pictures and your house
especially
has
this
sold
time
it
of year, they might be
and
like,
our
I want to
pricing.
close on December 31st.
Right. So
which title agents love.
They love.
But they do it because
they will. No title
it.
agent loves the end of the month, by the way.
Nobody in the industry loves the end of the month. Everybody wants to close.
So other ways to prep your home for real estate photos. We sort of go through this all the time. Rebecca's best one last week was about just cleaning your house.
Elbow grease.
And, getting the cobwebs out, because people literally have cobwebs, and getting those out of the way.
Oh, yeah, they do. Like, one of my favorite chores is, and I tell you guys this all the time, making my children wipe down the doors, especially around, like, where the
handles.
We have levers.
Where you have, and there's always handprints. I think, and this happens when you have dogs and kids, or I should say pets and kids. So be mindful of that. When you're going to list, don't leave all of those dirty handprints around. It just doesn't look becoming. People don't want,
I think my 8-year-old dips his hand in peanut butter before he touches things.
It seems like it in every house with kids. And we're not, belittling or berating the children. That's
I love
part
kids.
of life. We have children ourselves. I don't love all kids, but I love my kids and her kids.
Just kidding. She loves your kids too.
Yeah. But, the fact is that you want to to get rid of those remnants that they typically leave. And if you're an adult who does that, you know.
Oh, I've seen adults do it just
Exactly.
as easily. People without children have the same issues that people do. But you're right. So nose prints. So my kids are always
Yes, windows,
Windex
nose,
wipes
right.
are a blessing. If you have children, you just hand them one each, and then one does the inside,
And
one
we'll
does the
have people
outside.
say, I can't keep this up every day. That's fine. Keep it up more than what you usually would. And especially for picture day, again, you know, if your dog goes up to the window every day and puts his nose there, picture day, you know, try to get your dog out so he's not doing that, so it doesn't show up in a photo.
Right.
But, you know, and again, for what I said last week was I think your front door, that's, other than the yard and the walkway, that's literally the first thing that people see.
That's the first impression. That's showing up on time and arriving with a smile. That's what your front door is doing.
Exactly. So you want to really clean that up, possibly even repaint it. But really clean the cobwebs, the bugs, everything up. Put some fresh flowers out front if you can. You know, seasonal, obviously, something that might last for a little longer. Some sort of flowering plant would look really nice. But really, you know, you want people to walk up and say, I want to go in this house. I really do want to go in this house. If you have any wood rot around that's very obvious, may as well go ahead and get that taken care of. So that when someone's walking up, they're not saying, oh, I already see work that needs to be done. You don't want anyone to see anything that has to be done with that house. Right now, I know that we've talked about this a lot, but NAR released some information last week. And NAR is the National Association of Realtors. And, you know, with this lack of inventory, houses seem to be going fast, but it's still the houses that are move-in ready, that don't look like anything has to be done. And sometimes that feels near impossible. But actually, I just showed a house today, and so I'm going to go sort of like off. I showed a house today, and I walked in, and I did not recognize it. I knew I'd shown houses in that neighborhood because, you know, 15 years, you're going to re-show houses. I walked in. It was absolutely gorgeous. They had done so much to it, probably when they lived there, and they were also prepping it to be shown and to look really nice. And I walked into the kitchen. I remember, do you remember the house where you walk in the kitchen and the half bathroom is right there? Next to, and I think we did like an open house there one year. We walked through it. That bathroom was right there, and I remembered it, but it looked like a completely different home. They did not rip out the countertops. They painted the cabinets like we've been talking about, and they changed all of the little hardware, the handles, and they repainted all the rooms, different, you know, their own personal colors. I think the kitchen was a nice light, almost gray blue, but it just cleaned it up. Absolutely cleaned it up. And I remembered when we saw that house, it was on tour, it did not look nice at all. But it's just adding a little bit of love and care and character to the home as well.
I mean, you know, we get asked all the time, should I redo my bathroom? Should I do this? You can do all of that, and you'll get
We're always
going
going
to
say yes.
Yes, this is what, if you ask me, should I
Yes.
replace my kitchen?
Yes.
This is what I'll say. I would. I always will say that to you if that's what you want to do.
That's a salesperson's response, because
Right.
we know it's going to sell better if you've redone it. Now, of course, redone it correctly.
Well, if
you
it's
know.
not in your budget, I'm a
if it's
big
not in your
believer. Clean,
Exactly.
paint, curb appeal. Those are your three most effective ways to get a return on your investment. And your home is hopefully your investment. But if it's clean and people don't feel like it's dirty, nothing's worse. I had a showing once, since we're telling stories. I was showing, this was actually for a mother who is bringing her son and daughter to UF. And I had a showing in a very popular neighborhood near UF. It has some students, but it's primarily professors and you know, long-term residents of Gainesville. I walked into the house and I had my heels on, and we were walking through the living room, and my shoe stuck to the floor to where I came up out of my shoe. Yep. And I was like horrified because I'm like flamingoing. Nope, I didn't. I'm flamingoing on the floor. Like, oh crap, I don't want to touch this floor if it's that bad. The mom is like, oh my gosh, disgusting. And I'm like, I know. Put my shoe back on and like pulled my leg up to get my shoe out of there. She's like, yeah, I don't need to see anymore. The house did sell for a lot less, but I'm like,
That's
cleaning it,
selling it for a lot
makes
less
a big
is
difference.
usually what happens. Yes.
Yep. So if you don't want to lose money,
Cleanliness is godliness.
Next to it. That's what I've heard. But yeah, keeping the paints fresh looking, neutral. I mean, anytime I'm having a gathering, you'll see me touching up my woodwork and my walls because I'm
She does. She
neurotic.
touches up all the time.
I know. I'm neurotic. I have problems. But But yeah, and then just freshening up your landscaping, like you talked about, fresh mulch, reshaping the bushes, whatever seasonal plants are out there. That stuff all makes a huge difference. So, and having your home show
It's
really
way
great.
more affordable than tearing out everything and starting over.
Oh yeah, you could spend $100,000 like that doing all that. So, let's talk about the holiday decor trends, though. What are we seeing out there? I saw something that said natural elements, farmhouse, Christmas, which I have seen a lot of that. I like the natural elements personally. I like earthy colors, whites, tans, and then I saw one that said blues were coming back.
Okay, so what I've been noticing is simplicity.
I love that.
Nice simple colors with golds and silvers, which are very Christmassy and very holiday themed, but really just keeping it simple. And I think the natural look is really the keeping it simple look. So,
I've seen a lot of that.
And farmhouse has been huge for the past couple of years. I mean, Joanna Gaines just like brought that to America, and we can't get out of it. And it's adorable.
It's adorable.
I mean,
she found
really
something
nice.
and she committed.
And everybody
like 10
committed
years.
with her. And I think it's just having been on HGTV and really everybody seeing that, but it's most people are resonating with that.
I'm sorry, I'm a big TikTok watcher. One of my favorite things, I will send you some hilarious stuff though, won't I?
Yes,
and
you
some
will.
disturbing stuff.
In the middle of the night.
Well, I have a baby. He doesn't like to sleep.
True.
One of my favorite things that I've noticed on there, they have this trend where it's like a Christmas bulb. They throw it in the room and it explodes and everything is Christmas, is that everything's really a lot chicer than I remember. When I was a kid, everything was like red and green and Santa Claus.
Right. We were raised in the 80s and 90s. I was 80s.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Well,
and it was kind of
80s.
tacky back then. I remember there was a lot of flowery stuff and,
maybe it was just that it was tacky.
I think it was just the tacky trends
Or maybe
of
we
those
just
days.
grew up tacky. I don't know.
Yeah, with my mother, we grew up tacky. We had pink flower walls everywhere. I mean, she's a
But that
great
was also
decorator,
stylish.
but yes, that was the style.
Yeah, but everything seems so chic and like they had things on their wall that were for Christmas that I'm like, you could leave that year round.
I know, right?
It's great. Look, it's beautiful. But it was like the way they did their poinsettias. They were all white and gold, and it was beautiful. I'm like, this is gorgeous. Come to my house.
Yeah, I don't think those deep reds and deep greens are really in anymore unless you have like a splash of it here and there. So, but I've always been a blue, gold, silver.
You do.
That's how I decorated last year. That's what I love for the colors always. So yeah.
Well, good.
All right. Well, we've talked your ears off, probably talked each other's off, and want to throw this up here. Remember, if you want to join our team, if you're thinking about getting into real estate or thinking of changing where you are or getting back into real estate, please email us at join@Rabell, and we will go through everything with you.
Yep, we'll tell you how to get started, how to make your transition the easiest, or how to build a business.
Yeah, your new career. Also, did you hear that we have a blog? I hope you have heard if you've been on here before. If you have not, it is buysellerrebell.com/blog, and you can read everything that we talk about here plus more.
That's right. Let's get social. You can find Rabell Realty Group at Facebook. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, and as always, you can email us. I know, I'm always on TikTok. You can find us at info@buysellrebell.com with questions, comments, concerns, or topic ideas, which we always love hearing from you guys. So anytime you have an idea, shoot it over to us. Hopefully we have some exciting stuff coming up at Christmas.
Yeah.
We also want to thank
Elio, the Fiesta Media. Thank you, Elio. He's the producer of this. If you are interested in your own podcast, that's who you can contact, and we'll have that information up at another time. Right? He's been great. He's the one who got us to do this, and we were a little reluctant at first, but I think we're really loving it now. So
we enjoy it. Hopefully it gets better each time.
It does.
All right, we will see you back here next Monday at 2 p.m. Make sure you're following us on Facebook for reminders and more blog tips from us.
And we want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your families and everything you can be thankful for. We'll see you next week.